Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy Canada Day to you.
Happy Canada Day to you as well. What a day it is indeed. It is very hot.
It really is.
And that's because it's officially summertime. We are officially into the month of July, which means we are on to a brand new batch of movies. July is, of course, Camp Eat Every Sandwich Month, aka Summertime Classics. And we are excited to talk about movie number one today. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news, Blairski?
Let's do it, buddy.
You want to kick this one off?
Yes, sir. Well, this will be our first episode recording on a new podcast network.
We did it. We are officially on a podcast network.
We are Planet X Network, or PX Network, you can call it. And today was the first day they actually went live.
It was. They streamed us for 2 hours, some older episodes, and we are thrilled, beyond thrilled.
Pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting stuff.
It's something we've been obviously talking about for a while, and an opportunity came up, and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah. So definitely check us out on the PX Network if you want, or you can still find our episodes everywhere you've been getting them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They will still be on YouTube. They will still be on podcast apps. But definitely check out the PX Network. There's a lot of other good podcasts on there. So
absolutely. What else you got for horror news?
Other than that, the 2023 remake of Children of the Corn is now officially streaming on Shudder.
Oh, on Shudder. Okay.
On Shudder. So I'm definitely planning on watching that pretty quick. I'm just curious about it because I love the original.
Yeah, this is one that it seems like they've been making for a while.
Well, there was a 2020 remake as well.
Right.
Which I think was just shit.
It was not good.
But I haven't seen it, so I'm not too sure. But I do want to watch this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm glad that it's on Shudder.
Something we already
service
have.
that I have. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have to rent a movie. Yeah.
Did you have to rent today's movie?
I have to rent about 85% of the movies we watch. It's like, how do I have 5 streaming services and these movies are not on any of them? But that's okay. Whatever.
Another release note, Evil Dead Rise is now officially available for purchase on Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh, that's exciting.
I will definitely be buying that on Blu-ray. I just have not come across it yet.
You're going to be checking out the Walmart bargain bin for that one, hey?
$5 bin, man.
$5 bin. Anything else?
The last piece of horror news I have is the first full-length trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's is now out. And it looks okay.
I have not watched it yet, but that was kind of the horror news of the week. Like that kind of seemed like it was everywhere. Another movie that we've talked about in the past, and one that has seemed to be being worked on for a long time now. And then all of a sudden it's taken the world by storm. So yeah,
Love the
trailer
game.
I want to see. Haven't played the game. You've played it though.
I've played just the original. I don't even know how many games there are, probably 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
But I played the original, loved it. The movie looks, from the trailer anyway, looks okay. I'll probably watch it at home. I'm not going to rush to theaters to see it, but should be a fun time.
Any release date on that one? I can't remember.
I'm sure there is, but I do not have a note of it.
I'm guessing if they're showing the trailer now, it'll probably, I would say probably
October, right? Probably Halloween time, I would imagine.
Yeah, September, October release, which is kind of, smart time to be doing a horror movie.
It sure is.
Anything else for horror news?
That's all I got, buddy.
I've got a couple here. Prop Store, which is a film and television memorabilia company, just held an auction earlier this week, and a prop from a beloved horror movie sold for a ton of money.
Okay, well, what's the prop? What's the movie and how much money?
Okay, so the movie is 1982's Poltergeist,
and
it was the original clown.
No shit, that creepy fucking thing.
Yeah, and it sold for $650,000. $1,000.
Wild, man.
How crazy is that? So
That's
that leads
wild.
me, this got me thinking and interested. I want to know, Blair, if you could buy any piece of horror memorabilia, what would it be?
It would have to be one, doesn't matter which one, but one of the Necronomicons actually used in one of the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, yeah. I
It would
had
have
a
to be that.
feeling. I had a feeling you were going to say that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
No
I would
doubt.
love just to have a replica one, let alone the one actually used in the movie. That would be wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd
Yeah,
be scared to open it.
yeah. Good choice. But yeah, $650,000.
That's fucking wild, man. What would you pick?
I was thinking I would probably go with one of the masks, one of the 3 masks that Leatherface uses in the original Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that would be
I
pretty
think
cool
I
too.
would probably go with the pretty woman or beautiful woman mask, which is my favorite mask.
That's
from
my
the
favorite
original
mask as
film.
well.
Yeah, so I'd probably go with that. What else do I have? It's official Pluto TV. Do you have Pluto TV?
I don't have Pluto, but it's free, isn't it?
It is free, and one of the
Okay.
streaming services I don't have, but because they have just added this channel to the streaming service, I'm thinking about it. So they just announced arguably the coolest channel ever, which is the Godzilla channel.
What?
Yeah, and it
Is
will
it just-
air.
Is it
Yeah.
just like Godzilla running the whole time?
It's exactly that. It's 24/7 Godzilla.
Fucking awesome.
Which, yeah, I think is great. And it's surprising that it took this long for a streaming service to do that. But yeah, 24/7 of straight up Godzilla, which is
Right.
fantastic. And that premiered today.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pluto TV, Godzilla channel, go check it out.
I'm
And then
going to.
finally, horror icon Christina Ricci is officially getting her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Us at Reviews That Scare salute you. And she will
Well
get her
deserved.
star sometime in 2024. Another name that I noticed on the list, Dr. Dre. Also
Really?
getting his Hollywood Star of Fame. Which
Well,
is
it's
kinda
about
cool.
time.
That's all I have for horror news. What do you say we jump into this week's episode, the first episode of Camp Eat Every Sandwich Month, which is 2019's Midsommar. This one coming in at a lengthy 2 hours, 28 minutes. Blairski, I know we, myself mostly, often complain about the runtime of movies. Initial thought on this one at 2 hours, basically 2.5 hours.
Well, it is long. That is a fucking long movie, but it
Hmm.
didn't feel like it.
Agreed. This
It
does not
didn't-
feel.
It didn't feel like 2.5 hours.
I honestly, the first time I noticed it was kind of getting a bit lengthy was when the character Danny is announced as the May Queen, which is pretty much
Near the end of the movie.
the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one had me enthralled the whole way, but we'll get into that later. What do you say we dive into some fun facts? You got some fun facts on this one?
Well, originally this movie was pitched as a straightforward slasher, believe it or
Okay. Okay.
not. While there's still some elements of it in there, it's kind of far off the course of a slasher film, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
The plot centers more around kind of a faulty relationship between Danny and Christian,
Yep.
as well as the PTSD from losing her entire family at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Other fun facts I have: the director Ari Aster has called this movie "The Wizard of Oz for perverts."
Okay.
That is what he compares it to when asked.
Okay.
The Wizard of Oz for perverts.
Huh.
During filming, which took place in Budapest, actually, the cast and crew had to deal with intense heat, as well as an abundant number of wasps that created like huge problems on the set.
It is a very warm movie. It feels, or visually, it feels warm.
Well, a lot of that's just the lighting, right? Like,
Yeah, and
it's
I'm
such a
sure,
bright movie.
we'll get into that later for sure.
My last fun fact is Midsummer festivities are in fact a real thing.
Most
And is
definitely.
yeah, it's celebrated. It's a celebration of the season and usually held around the summer solstice and is also known as St. John's Day.
Okay.
Celebrated in countries worldwide, including like all of Europe, as well as Canada,
Right.
USA, and Brazil.
Fantastic. Celebrating the seasons, of course. Summer, one of those 4 seasons, as Blair pointed out last episode.
Yeah, I did. What is summer to you? Oh, it's a season.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Anything else for fun facts?
That's all I've got, brother.
I've got a couple here. Apparently, when the film was released in Sweden, where the movie takes place, many people laughed.
Really?
Some critics even praised it as an excellent black comedy.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, it's wild because I don't find it funny at all. I find it right fucked up.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. Although the film takes place almost entirely in sunlight, we never actually see the sun.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, neither did I, but that's pretty cool.
That's wild,
and then, finally, Ariana Grande is apparently a huge fan of the movie and attempted to buy the May Queen gown at an auction. She did not win.
I wonder how much that sold for.
Yeah, I also wrote down here, who knows, maybe she ended up spending $650,000 on the clown from Poltergeist. That's all I have for fun facts. Let's dive right into this. This one, directed by Ari Aster, also directed Hereditary, of course, and the new Joaquin Phoenix movie, Beau is Afraid. That one's been getting a lot of buzz lately.
Anything he's in does pretty good.
Yeah, and of course, Hereditary is fantastic.
Amazing.
This one also written by Ari Aster, who wrote both Hereditary and Beau's Afraid. This one starring, what a cast. Florence Poe, is that how you pronounce the last name?
I believe that's Florence Poe, yeah.
Florence Poe as Danny. Fantastic. We'll get into it later. She has quite the resume, starred in Little Woman, Black Widow, Don't Worry, Darling, and she will be in 2 highly anticipated movies coming up, Oppenheimer and Dune Part 2.
Right on.
Also starring Jack Rayner as Christian, also starred in Flora and Son, Sing Street, and in 17 episodes of the television show Strange Angel. Also starring Wilhelm Blomgren as Pele, starred in Blair's favorite Swedish-based television show,
Swedish-based.
Busta.
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 Oh, yeah, I love Busta.
You love it.
I love it.
Also starring William Jackson Harper as Josh, also starred in 50 episodes of The Good Place, and then the newest Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Have you seen that newest Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, Blair?
I have not. I've seen the first one, though.
And you loved it.
It's okay.
It was okay.
It's all right. There's some better Marvel movies out there.
Yeah. Finally, starring Will Poulter as Mark. Will Poulter also has a huge resume. So just to name a few, starred as Kenny in We Are the Millers, 2014's The Maze Runner, Black Mirror's Bandersnatch, 2021's Dope Sick, and 2023's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, where I think he plays the villain.
Really?
Yeah. He's a big deal.
Yeah, man. No kidding. I couldn't see him as a villain, though.
Yeah. This leads us to the synopsis for 2019's Midsommar, courtesy of IMDb. A couple travels to Northern Europe to visit a rural hometown's fabled Swedish Midsummer Festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. It is definitely violent and it is definitely bizarre.
And that's a pretty long synopsis, especially since the movie's so long, too.
Yeah, I think it could have just, yeah. It's a good synopsis. Yeah, bizarre, violent Sweden. That's all you need to know.
Bizarre violent Sweden, yeah.
Yeah. This leads to one of our favorite segments, Kill Count.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, what do we got for kill count on this one?
We have a total of 15 human deaths, 9
Wow.
men, 6 women, and then we
Okay.
also have a bear,
Of course, the bear.
giving us a total count of 16 deaths.
That is a high kill count.
It is.
We see quite a few of the deaths on screen.
Yeah, but not all
and-
of them.
No, I would say probably half of the deaths we see on screen.
Yeah, maybe.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, maybe just over. I remember.
little
I
over.
remember like 7 or 8 of them, I think.
It's hard remembering who's all dead and who's alive, especially in the final scene.
Yeah, at the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but this leads to one of our favorite segments, likes and dislikes, the portion of the show where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski, do you want to kick this one off?
I'm just going to kick it off with Florence Poe. She absolutely carried this movie, man. She is fucking amazing. She's so good in this movie.
Yeah, and she sets the tone for the movie. I'm going to add on top of that. I know we here at Review Set Scare talk a lot about the first 10 minutes of a movie and how an intro can really make or break the movie.
Yeah.
The emotion she shows in the first 10 minutes, arguably the most disturbing part of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree. I would totally agree.
Just the emotions that she goes through, and just that is acting 101. She killed it in the first
So
10
good,
minutes.
man. You were feeling almost every emotion she was feeling. She
Oh
was
my
that
God.
good.
It was a roller coaster in 10 minutes.
She was that good. Yeah, like
She
when
was
her
fantastic.
she finds out her whole family's dead.
Yeah.
That scene was just, man. I can't say enough about it. So
This
good.
scene where she is just wailing into her boyfriend's lap is just like, oh my God, this is intense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
no,
immediately
she's
the
so good.
visuals get really bright.
Yeah. Yeah. Shortly after, right? Shortly after.
Yeah.
But yeah, the beginning was very dark, and yeah, she carried it. She did so good.
She carried it throughout the whole movie. That grin that she gave right at the end of the movie.
To
That
be honest,
smile.
it's like Oscar worthy to me.
Honestly, I think if it wasn't a horror movie, because horror movies get bad reps come award season, I think if it wasn't labeled as a horror movie, she would have been at least nominated.
Yeah.
She was so good. Yeah. Yeah. What else did you like about this one?
Set design.
Yeah.
Set, the score.
Oh my God.
It all fucking worked so good together. And it's like, this movie visually is like something you've never seen before in cinema, or I haven't anyway.
It's just so unique, especially to the genre of horror.
Yeah.
Because it's so rare. I mean, people get the idea of horror has to be dark and in the shadows. This movie does the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It brightens everything. I want to add on top of the set and the sound, the costumes, everything is just so vibrant.
Yeah.
Which to me makes everything so unsettling, because you know that bad things are happening, but everything is so bright and cheerful visually that it's like, ooh, I don't feel right about this.
It's all happening right in front of you, but like behind closed doors at the same time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back and touch on the music of this one.
Yeah.
It reminded me so much of The Witch, where it's like that folky sound to it on folk instruments. I love it. I basically just wrote down, give me all the folk horror movies. I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it definitely creates a good atmosphere, man, when you're watching it.
It's so ominous, so intense. It just, it adds so much to the movie.
I love how incredibly fucked up this movie is.
It's so bizarre.
It's so bizarre. And that cliff scene.
I was going to ask you, it's how do you pronounce it here? The Etastupa scene?
Is that,
I believe
is that
that's
what
how
it's
you
called?
pronounce it. Etastupa? Yeah.
Just wild, man.
For those of
just
you who've
wild.
seen it, obviously, you know, this is, I think, the most, I would say, memorable scene of the movie, or the scene that people would think of most.
It's definitely the
when they
most
think of this movie.
disturbing scene.
Yeah, I would say so. Visually disturbing for sure. It's the scene with the two elders who die.
Well,
But
they're 72.
yeah,
It's the end of their life cycle.
against Florence Poe in this scene. Unreal.
So good, man.
Her
But to be
reaction.
honest, I would have, if I was there, I would have more been reacting like that other couple.
I agree. I would have been freaking out as well.
Yeah, I would have been freaking out, being like, what the fuck is going
Trying
on?
to stop everything. Yeah.
Why isn't anyone helping? That was shortly after that. We never saw that couple again.
I love how quiet this scene is.
Mm-hmm.
So the scene, I mean, the music adds just after we finish about how much the music adds. This scene, I mean, relies a lot on the sound of what is happening in that moment, and it's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
The sounds of the kind of I want to say contact, or first impact, and then the sound of the breathing of the elderly gentleman when things don't go as planned, and then the sound of the crowd wailing, and man, oh man, just the sound of the atmosphere of everything that is happening in that moment. It's horrific.
It's fucked up, man. It's kind of almost hard to watch. It's so weird, man.
It is definitely hard to watch, that's for sure.
Well, I did write here that the movie's a little long.
Yeah, fair enough.
2.5 hours long movie. But as I said, it doesn't feel long, so it's kind of all right. Because it's such a fucking good movie, man. It's such a good movie. The end scene is very, very, very weird. Now, we just talked about the cliff scene, how fucked up that was. The ending of this movie, especially the sex scene with Christian, is really fucked up.
It's unsettling.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, basically from the scene, from when Danny becomes the May Queen till the end is pretty unsettling, pretty difficult to watch. That's when you truly understand how fucked up things are.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And at that point, course, Danny has lost it. She's lost it.
Yeah. I don't know if she's lost it, or maybe she's completely accepted her new family.
Possibly.
I kind of think of it as with the death of Christian, that was the only thing holding her back from truly accepting her new family. And when he's dead, and the kind of that smile, because I mean, his death is completely up to her.
Yeah,
she gets to choose
it. Yeah.
And maybe she comes to the realization of, that's the only thing holding me back from complete happiness, I guess. I don't know.
And you very well could be right. Yeah, you very well could be right. It does not explain it. That doesn't explain it. But
I want to mention just again the visuals of this movie. I love how bright and colorful, but it kind of it lets your guard down a bit.
Yeah.
Just because you're expecting, well, everything is light and beautiful, nothing bad could possibly happen. But on top of that, I love any scene where the characters were tripping.
Mm-hmm.
And their surroundings, which is like, there's probably in total, I would say probably 35 minutes of this movie, they're tripping, if not longer.
Yeah, I think longer than that, man.
Yeah, but I just love their surroundings coming to life, nature coming to life. It looks like the flowers were breathing, and people's eyes moving around in a really bizarre way. There's also a moment that I noticed. I didn't notice it in past viewings, but I noticed it last night. After Danny becomes the May Queen and they're carrying her off, and everything is breathing, you see a face in the trees.
In the trees, it's her sister.
How cool is that?
Yeah, man, it's her fucking sister's face in the trees, man.
I rewound it about 3 times yesterday, just because I thought visually that was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, they have just little things all the time, man. Like all over the
Yeah.
place. There's like little things kind of morphing and moving. Like even at the big dinner table, if you look at the
Yeah.
food's morphing and shit. It's fucking weird, man.
It kind of feels everything is distorted.
Yeah.
It feels like everything is distorted the whole movie. So it's maybe, the character's perception of, what's normal or what's real and what's not real. It's also distorted. But visually, this whole thing is like, am I just on a really bad trip right now? Or is this
Right?
actually happening?
Just imagine like doing mushrooms, then watching this movie.
Yeah. It might be too much. I mean, it's a lot doing it sober.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, fuck.
Oh goodness. Anything else you really liked or really didn't like about this?
The last thing I have written down here is I just love how unique this movie is. There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's super unique. I also wrote down this movie is not for everyone.
No.
It's very weird. It's very bizarre, and it's very shocking. I mean, people. It's not overly scary in the traditional sense.
No.
But it's shocking. So if you're someone who's doesn't like things that are unsettling or weird, maybe this isn't for you. But it's unique, as you said, Blair. This movie is unique. Yeah. This leads into one of our favorite segments of the show, which is lessons we learned from watching 2019's Midsommar.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, did you learn anything from watching Midsommar?
Magic mushrooms are one hell of a drug. They do mushrooms pretty much right when they get to Sweden.
Yeah.
And from that point, the whole movie and the rest of their lives just takes a turn.
Yeah.
Just takes a turn. And it's almost like a psychedelic trip throughout the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Other thing I learned here is PTSD is no joke and could lead to psychedelics.
Yeah.
And moving to Sweden and becoming the May Queen of a cult. The poor girl, man. Again, Florence Pugh, she's so amazing, but she goes through just such torturous hell. Her boyfriend, by the way, is such a fucking dick. Her boyfriend is an asshole.
And it's so sad because she's obviously somebody who is going through a lot.
And needs somebody.
And like somebody going through a lot, she takes a lot of guilt and puts it on herself and saying, well, I'm in the wrong. I'm asking so much from the people around me. But it's like, yeah, but the people around you are treating you like shit.
Yeah, they should be being supportive.
Yeah, and they're not. And maybe because this has been going, but I mean, even if it has been going on for a while, I mean, if you're choosing to be with this woman, be with her through thick and thin.
And it's Florence Pugh. Like, why would you not want to?
Right? Anything else you learned from this one?
That's all I've got written down, man.
I've got a couple here. First one, different cultures have different practices and things that are sacred. So be careful where you're taking a whiz because you might be peeing on an ancestral tree.
Oh, fuck. He's like, what am I doing wrong? He has no clue as to what he's doing wrong.
Meanwhile, everyone in the commune is freaking out. I do appreciate that when one person in the commune is freaking out, they are all collectively freaking out. Yeah. It's one, the commune is one breathing entity. Yeah. And then finally, I have, don't give into peer pressure, kids. If your mind and body are telling you not to take psychedelics, don't take psychedelics.
Nope.
And then I quoted a famous Canadian TV commercial when I said, don't you put it in your mouth.
That's a great commercial.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, fuck.
This leads to another one of our favorite segments, which is Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski, kick this one off, will ya?
All right, man. I've only got one.
Okay.
And it goes, someone should tell those girls they're walking stupid, which is said by, I believe, the character Mark. It didn't actually show who said it.
Yeah.
But it was belted out by someone. And I think it was Mark, because on screen it was showing girls. I think they were picking berries or like some crops, and they're like walking backwards while
They were
doing it.
picking flowers while walking backward, and it was definitely Mark in a very Mark line.
Yeah. Someone should tell those girls they're walking stupid.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Oh, made me laugh right away.
I've got a couple here. First one, passing by a cage with a bear in it. The character Simon says, "So we just going to ignore the bear then?"
Yeah.
And the character Ingmar responds saying, and he says it so nonchalantly, he says, "It's a bear." It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I kind of forgot that bears in cages are normal. It's a bear. And then walks away. I've got a line here from Mark. He says, "Mr. Pelle's invited us to an authentic hippie midsummer at his yodeling farm." Which I thought was great.
Mark was a funny character.
Yeah, he was an ass, but he had some great one-liners.
Yeah.
And I'm going to finish off with some dialogue from Mark that happens during their initial trip, mushroom trip. And I could have written down a couple lines here, but the group is extremely high and a member of the commune is approaching them. And Christian says, "Oh, fuck, it's a new person." To which Mark replies, "What? I don't want new people right now."
Do you know what's funny? I know that exact feeling, man. I know that exact feeling.
Oh, God. Yeah, I thought that whole scene was very comical where he's trying to get everybody to lay down with him because he's not he's nervous laying down by himself. He's freaking out. He's freaking out.
He's getting mad at his friends for not laying down.
Yeah. "Oh, it feels so good. Lay down with me." Yeah, he's freaking out. He's tripping. This leads to our favorite segment of the show, which is Celebrity Lookalike Time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski, kick this one off, please.
Yeah, I got two for this one. The character Christian, who was the boyfriend of Danny, reminded me a little bit of Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Probably known best as Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and then another Marvel twist. Danny, obviously played by Florence Poe, reminds me a little bit of Scarlett Johansson, which is probably why they were cast as sisters in The Black Widow.
Those are good ones. I have another Marvel connection.
Okay.
Florence Poe reminded me a lot of Elizabeth Olsen, who of course plays the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, she does.
Yeah. One of the Olsen sisters.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And then finally, I have the character Christian, played by Jack Rayner, reminded me a lot of Steve Zahn, who starred in the hit TV show The White Lotus.
Okay.
And also starred in the hit movie, and I know you've seen this one, Daddy Daycare.
I have seen Daddy Daycare.
Big fan of Daddy Daycare. Oh, goodness. This leads to our final review of 2019's Midsommar. Blairski, out of 5 Florence Poes tripping on spring water mixed with special properties whilst dancing around the maypole, what do you give Midsommar?
I am going to be giving it 4 Florence Poes tripping on spring water mixed with special properties whilst dancing around the maypole out of 5.
Great score. I am also going to give it 4 Florence Poes tripping on spring water mixed with special properties whilst dancing around the maypole out of 5. This movie rocked.
It's so fucking good. It's such a good movie. I'm going to buy it now. I have to have this for my collection.
I want to add this to my film soundtrack collection.
Yeah.
And I want to get the poster for this movie because they're both excellent.
I
This
love
movie
the
was
poster
great.
for this movie.
Yeah. If you're into weird, bizarre, unsettling, unique horror movies, put this at the top of your list
This is
because
it.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
But for Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair, thanks for joining us on the Planet X network.
Yeah, it's been nice getting back to a fucking movie review for once.
Yeah, we're back,
You know?
baby. We're
I think
back.
we might be a little bit rusty, but we've taken a month
know.
off reviewing movies. So
I know June was a little bit of a detour,
yeah,
but we're back into it. We're
Yeah.
back into it,
Yeah.
and we couldn't be more excited. But for Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair, I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich.
Fucking fuck me up. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/Reviews That Scare. That's linktr.ee/Reviews That Scare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsthatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.